I had to check my phone to make sure it's still morning, and it is. It's not 12 yet. All of this has happened before 12 o'clock. How many people are glad not to be sitting in math class right now? Woo! And then I apologize to all our math teachers that are here, because math is super important. Hey, let me hear it for Cold Springs. Is the Cold Springs in the house? How about Holly Pond? How about Hansville? West Point? Woo! That's what I'm talking about. How about Fairview? We got Good Hope? Vermont? Did I get them all? CDC? They're in here too somewhere. They're not as big, but they're in here. Hey, let me have your attention for just a minute. How many people would like to do this once a week? Come on. I know you're not having a good time? I will tell you right now, first of all, I want to thank Karen Pinion. She's probably hiding from me right now because she knows that I like to embarrass her. But Karen Pinion planned all of this and told us what to do like a dictator to make it happen, and we're here today. And this is one of the best days of my career, because I'll tell you this, for us to come see you guys at a school, it would take me a month to get around to every single classroom and see all of you guys, so we brought you all here, and we're super excited about that. But I want to give Karen Pinion a hand and let her know how much we appreciate her. Also, the Stephen Griffin Memorial Committee, Garrison Gives Hope, all of our sponsors that we had down there that you met today and you signed up and got a lot of goodies from. I just want to say thank you to all of y'all. If you'll look on the screen, all of these people that are listed under sponsors right here contributed money or resources to make today happen. And we're super excited about that. Because you know what? All of these people, they represent organizations, and the people that I called out, they gave money and resources because they care about you. Now, I want you to think about that. I love to yell and scream, and I like to have a lot of fun, but I want you to know, if you take nothing else away from today, every single one of you in this room, you're loved and appreciated by all of us. Nearly our entire central office. We shut down all the operations today, and many of your schools have shut down. They've pulled coaches and teachers and principals are here. And you know why they're here? They're here because they love you and they care about you. And that's why we're doing today. And I want you to know that, and I want you to really let that sink in, because I know, believe it or not, I know I look very, very old, and I get that, and I am pretty old. But at one point, I was your age, and I was sitting in a chair, and I was a 15-year-old kid, and there was days that went by that you think, oh, nobody cares about me, the life, I can't even get all my homework done, or I can't, whatever. My girlfriend broke up with me today. Whatever it might be, you think, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to the end of the week. But I want you to know this, you are, and we're here to help you, and we're going to support you, and we love you. And I want you to remember that. I'm going to open in a word of prayer, and some of you in this room may not have ever had anybody pray over you, but after today, you can say, you've had somebody pray for you, because I'm praying that you become everything that you want to become one day. I'm going to pray for you that my prayer for you is that you become you're already a young adult, but you become the professional that you want to become one day, and that you have a great life and fulfilled life, and you're successful, and you know that somebody loves you and cares about you. If you will, bow your head, and I'm going to say a prayer over every one of you. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today, and we just thank you. I thank you for the leaders. I thank you for Ms. Pinion and the whole team that worked so hard to make today possible. I thank you for the Helinskis that are going to share their story. And I thank you for every single soul that is in this building today. Every student that we have, I pray that you just keep them safe, touch them, and let them know that they're loved and appreciated. and that they can reach out to us for anything, and we're here to help them. We love you so much, and we just pray that today is a wonderful day, and it changes people's lives. In your name we pray. Amen. Last but not least, I want to give it up for Temple Baptist Church and their entire crew that's helping us put this on. Let's give them a hand. So at this time, I want to introduce a good friend of mine that many of you know, Andrew Heppenstall. There you are. Sorry, I lost you. He's going to share with you a few minutes. Give him your undivided attention. Great friend. I just love you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
You got me on? There we are. Good deal. Man, it's been exciting. About 6 months is what it took for me to go through all the schools in Cullman County. We spoke to all the middle schools and the high schools. And so some of y'all might see me like I thought I recognized that dude. I did an assembly at y'all's school. And a lot of that assembly was about me sharing my past, my life, my experiences, trauma, things like that. And the hope was this, that when you hear somebody share their story and their experiences and what they've been through, that maybe there's a connection point. And when you hear somebody has gone through some of the same things you went through or has felt the same way you do, because really your mind will play a trick on you to make you believe you're the only one who's ever felt this way. You're the only one who has ever been through this. Nobody else gets you. Nobody can understand you. And then when you hear somebody share their experiences, and I've always said the most powerful words are the words, me too. You know, when you can have a shared experience with someone. And so for 6 months, we went around and spoke to all the different schools. And what was so amazing is a lot of the conversations we had after. I'd have a line of students coming to wait to talk to me, to just share with me about what's going on in their life and how they could relate and the struggles they've had and the family dynamics that are falling apart in their home and the problems they've had. And it was amazing. And then following up from that, I've been at ball games, basketball games, baseball games, football games, when a student would find me and said, hey, I remember when you come and spoke at my school, I wanted you to know my friend, he was speaking about suicide, but I remember you said something about if you see something, say something, so I reported it, and my friend has gotten the help that they need. Man, that's a win. That's a win. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity that I had to come and speak to your schools, to be in your world for just a short period of time. And I just want to let you know I love you. Man, I've been in student ministry 18 years. That's a long time. That's longer than a lot of you have been alive. 18 years I've been in student ministry. And I love middle school, high school, college students. And so if you ever need anything, man, we would love to be that person for you. Here right now, I'm going to introduce another friend of mine. He is, he's a cool dude. Don't let the badge and the gun scare you. I tell you, he's a really cool dude. But this is Sergeant Jeff Lawson. He's going to talk to you real quickly about the dangers of social media and the things that you probably are aware of, but some things you probably didn't know. But y'all give it up for Mr. Jeff Lawson here.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, so listen, my name's Jeff Lawson. My claim to fame, if you will, is I was Fairview School Resource Officer for 6 years. And after that, I went to investigations. So I was an investigator for 3 years. And during that 3 years, I investigated crimes against persons, which turned out to be mostly crimes against children, which you are in this room by the law. We consider you guys children. And so through that, you know, there was the crimes where it came to there was actual physical things going on, but it was crimes mainly of what we deal with now. And a lot of you guys know what we're talking about when we talk about stuff on social media. And we talk about crimes against children or things that are happening on social media. How many of us in this room have social media of some sort? Most of us, right? If you're old like me, you probably got Facebook. And go ahead, if you'll click that. And it kind of shows some of them. If you're old like me, you probably got Facebook. You may have Twitter, Instagram. You guys are probably pretty good with Instagram. But we know now a lot of these apps here you guys are really not using. But that's Snapchat. How many of us in the room's got Snapchat? A lot of us, okay? And that was where primarily most of my cases come from as an investigator, was through Snapchat. We would get those cases where obviously there's been pictures sent, pictures received, and my goal, and this is, I'm only going to be here a few minutes, guys, 15 minutes and I'll be out, so I won't bore you, I promise. My goal for you, and I always like to have that when I speak to a group, is for you to understand the dangers that this poses. And you understand the ramifications that this can have on your life, not just right now, not just a little slap on the wrist or something that would happen at school, but the dangers and what could happen to you in the future. If you'll go ahead and so we talked about some of these. They're not real popular around here. Some of these, the Kick and the Whisper. Go ahead and click that again. Even some of these other apps. Some of you may have seen those. Omegle was popular for a while. Anybody ever heard of Omegle? You were able to log into that app and you were able to communicate to somebody in the world. You didn't really know who it was or how old they were, and you connected with those, and that got real popular with kids. But again, today's youth, you guys are mainly using that Snapchat. And I would say even a lot of you are using just Messenger. When I would do a search warrant on somebody's phone, that's what I'm seeing, just straight up. You guys don't really text a lot. You do some. You certainly don't talk on the phone anymore. But I tell you what you do. You do Snapchat, and you absolutely do Messenger and send some pictures and stuff. So click one more time. So we're going to get to the dangers of this and what happens. So when I worked crimes against children, what would happen is your parents would come in, or your grandparents, or even somebody that maybe one of your friends would come, and they would file a report. So I would go and get that report, and I would start doing my investigation, start doing my research, and I would do a search warrant. I would get your phone, and I would do a search warrant on your phone. I would do a search warrant on your Snapchat, all of your social media things. And what we don't realize is that when you have that Snapchat, we are told that those things go away. And I know some of you, and I don't want to embarrass anybody, some of you have for my eyes only, some of you have secret things on your phone that enable you to kind of hide those pictures or hide some of those chats or hide some of those things. But when I do a search warrant on your phone, when investigation gets that phone, I get everything. I get every streak you've ever sent. I get every message you've ever sent. I get every picture that you've ever sent. And I get everything you've ever received. See, Snapchat sends us all that. So when I would do a search warrant on your Snapchat, I would get 7, 8, 10, 15,000 pictures. That's how many. And it takes days for us to go through that. Days to look through all the things that you've done on social media. And you think that it's private. And if y'all click one more time, we're trying to get down to this last slide, really, is what we're trying to go to. You think that it's private. You think that nobody knows what you're sending. And you think that, and you have a boyfriend a lot of times or a girlfriend, and you love that person, and we're going to get married, and we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. And so we decide we're Snapchatting, we're texting back and forth, we're messaging back and forth, and we decide to make that, and I like to call it the 2 a.m. decision. And Andrew has preached a message, and we talked about that same thing here at Temple Baptist Church, that 2 a.m. decision. You know, you get home from school, and you guys are always connected to one another. You never break that. You always have that phone. You have the most powerful device in your pocket or in your purse, and you're messaging that person continually. And eventually, at midnight or 1 or 2 a.m., that's when you make that decision, or that bad decision to send that photograph. And the reason I know that is because when I do search warrants on those Snapchat accounts and I start looking at those, it tells me time-stamped when you sent the picture. It tells me where you were at when you sent the picture. I see all of those things. And so that stuff never goes away. But understand this, if you send that to 5 of your friends, and I think it says 1 in 5 students sends it to someone else. If you send it to 5 of your friends, if you just send it to your boyfriend or girlfriend, the chances of them never sending it out is almost zero. Because they're going to send it, they're going to show it to one of their friends, they're going to send it out to one of their friends, and then they're going to send it to somebody else. And I've been to every school in the county, I believe. I believe I've worked cases, so it's not just one school or this school. I've worked cases, unfortunately, at all the schools. And so you get those pictures, and when you take that picture, even if it's of yourself, guys, then you're committing a felony. You're producing child pornography. That's a felony. That's a Class B felony. The only thing higher than that is murder. When you send that picture, you're distributing child pornography. That's another felony. If you have those pictures stored on your phone, whether it be of you, whether it be of your boyfriend or girlfriend, or just random people. I've talked to groups where, just for fun, you'll be in a Snapchat group, And people just for fun will send random pictures of other kids. I've had people where they take pictures of kids in locker rooms, where they take pictures when you spend the night with one another. You secretly take pictures and you send those pictures out. And so you're possessing, if you have that on your phone, you have that on your account, you're possessing, that's a third felony. You've produced it, you've distributed it, and you've possessed it. That's 3 felonies, guys. And that doesn't affect you right now. If we come and we find out, you'll go to juvenile probation if you're under 18. If you're over 18, you'll go to adult court. It doesn't matter that your girlfriend's 16 or your girlfriend's 15 and you're 17. You're going to go to juvenile or you're going to go to adult court. The judge is going to determine what happens to you at that point. I've had 18-year-olds that register as a sex offender that have to register because of social media, not because of anything physical they've done, but because of social media, they have to register as a sex offender for the rest of their life. So wherever you move to, the neighborhood that you choose to move when you get older and you want to get married and raise kids, they're going to send a letter out to everybody that lives around you within so many miles away that says you're living next to a sex offender. In any job you ever go to, and there's always used this, and y'all can Google it. Everybody's got a phone, so understand everything I'm telling you is factual. There's a quarterback that was from Florida. You may have heard of this guy, Jalen Kitna. I wanted to get his name. His dad played in the NFL. Well, Jalen got a full ride scholarship to the University of Florida. He's a quarterback. He's got the world. His dad's got plenty of money. He's got the world by the tail, right? He was arrested a couple years ago for having 2 pictures, child pornography, on his phone. Lost his scholarship, banned from being on campus, and arrested and charged. Everything's gone just by having 2 pictures. Guys, that's what happens, and that's what can happen to you. And again, my goal is to educate you guys and realize that this decision that you guys are making, and when I first went to investigations and I first started doing the search warrants and first started looking through the phones, I was shocked. But after 3 years, I'm not shocked anymore. I was shocked at how many young ladies have stuff like that on their phone. When I get a search warrant and do it on your phone, I was shocked at your history, what you're looking up, what you're watching, all of those things. How embarrassing would it be? And I was kind of aggravating some of the folks and say, hey, we're going to bring you up on stage. I'm going to plug your phone in and we're going to see your social media up on stage. And they were saying, no, we don't want to do that. How embarrassing would that be if I got your phone, your Snapchat? Right now, as you said in church, how embarrassing. Is there anybody that would want to volunteer that? I got one guy. Good for you. So how embarrassing if for the whole world to be able to see what you've looked at, to see that bad decision, and we've all made bad decisions. Nobody's perfect. The thing about it is, with a lot of us that are older, our bad decisions, there was no cell phones back in. But now you have that device and you possess that and you carry it with you wherever you go. And the cases, the kids that I've seen that's broken, you guys, you're in such a need to connect with people all over the world. I've worked cases where people are in foreign countries that are friends with you on Snapchat. You didn't know that it was a foreign country. You didn't know where they were from. Different states. Nobody's going to pretend that they're a 50-year-old man. Everybody's going to pretend that they're a 16-year-old boy or a 16-year-old girl. But you don't know who you're messaging. You don't know who you're sending pictures. I've worked cases where somebody made a bad decision and sent some of these people, perverts is what they are. You sent those perverts some pictures, and they've come right back as soon as that picture was sent. And they sent you a false picture, and they've come right back and said, you'll send me more pictures, or you'll pay me money. If you don't pay me money, I'll send it to everybody in your contacts. I've had cases where somebody said, you'll go take pictures of your friends, you'll go take pictures of your smaller siblings and send to me, or I'll send it to everybody in your contact group. I'm telling you, there's some vile, nasty people out in this world. And you don't want to go down that path. I've seen kids come in broken. I've talked to grandmothers. I've talked to mothers. I've talked to young people. Some of you in this room, I may have talked to some of you in this room at one point or another. And I've seen you broken. I've seen the depression. I've seen the anxiety. You don't want to go to school. You're embarrassed to even get out of bed. You're embarrassed to be seen anymore. Those are the decisions. You ever want to go and work for we're talking about colleges. Colleges now, I'm blessed to do most of the interviews now from anybody that comes to work at the sheriff's office. It's part of my job now. And guess what we check with every applicant? Their social media. We're looking to see if you just got through with a party this weekend. We're looking to see what you're doing because we don't want that person working at the Cullman County Sheriff's Office, do we? So what do you think is going to happen when you go to apply for a federal job? Or when some of you in this room are going to be doctors, you're going to be lawyers, you're going to be teachers. What do you think is going to happen when you work so hard and you go to college and you do all these things and then you go to get that job and a decision you made when you were 16 years old comes back to get you? Those pictures never go away, young folks. They never go away. It will be when that picture goes out into eternity, when it goes out in the internet land, it's there for eternity. It's there. And you don't want that picture to come back and derail your life. How embarrassing would that be if you had a job and you lost your job because, again, a decision you made when you were 16, 17 years old? I'm telling you the dangers of it. Social media can be a great thing. Social media can be a situation where, hey, people connect. You guys are able to communicate. I know some of your teachers, some of your coaches use different apps, different things to communicate with you because they can talk to the whole group at the same time. It can be a great thing, but it can also be a very detrimental thing if it's used in the wrong way. So my goal today, and I hope that and I'm almost done, but I hope that you got something out of the fact that if you make that bad decision, it can affect the rest of your life. You need to guard yourself. You need to understand that and there's apps out there that prevent you from getting on certain websites, and I've encouraged parents when I've talked to parents about that. I've talked to parents about having a Mira app that lets them see everything that you're looking up, everything that you're doing. Some of you may not have this problem, but I know with a group this size, the amount of search warrants that I've did on social media and cell phones, I guarantee you half of this room has inappropriate stuff on your phone. Because I've done it, I've looked at it, I've seen it. And it's not something that I enjoy, and it's not something that you want to follow you the rest of your life, okay? And I appreciate Dr. Barnett. I appreciate Ms. Karen Pinion. I appreciate our sheriff for allowing me to come and share this. I say this today because we love you. I'm not getting anything to come do this. I say this today because these folks love you, and they care about you, and they want to see you have a great future. And I want to see you have a great future. I don't care what school you're from. I do not want to see you broken. I have seen, again, young people broken to the point they just do not want to go on because of the decision they made one night at 2 a.m. Don't let that happen to you. Don't be that person. If somebody sends you a picture, so if you get something like that, delete it. And tell that person that they just do not want to go down that road, okay? So understand, guys, we love you. I'm through. I know Andrew's here somewhere in the building. And I want to encourage you, if you ever need me, I'm the only Lawson that works at the sheriff's office. Every one of your counselors know me. Your principals know me. You come to them. I'll come to your school. I will do whatever it is I can to help you. You made that mistake, come let us know. We'll do whatever I can possibly do to help you and help you be successful, okay? Guys, we appreciate you. Love you very much.
All right, so y'all got a little tense. I ain't gonna lie. I felt the atmosphere change a little bit when he said, y'all can go through my Snapchat. So we're gonna try to do something to maybe lighten the mood a little bit. So I'm gonna need 2 volunteers from every single school. All right, so over here in Good Hope, I need 2 volunteers. I got one right here, and then Carter, come up here. So one of you gonna go upstairs. See Caleb up there? There's Caleb. One of you's going up there, one of you's coming down on the stage. One goes up, one stays down. What? Are both run? I don't know. Okay. Cold Springs. Give me 2 from Cold Springs. All right. And the overalls right there, and right here. So, no, yeah. So one upstairs. Just come right up here. Go behind the fern up there. All right, so one of y'all go upstairs, one downstairs. Who we got here? We got Hansville, 2 from Hansville. I see your hand up already. I'm going to get one from the back. Messersmith. Let's go. Okay. So one up here, one down there. All right, so then we got over here. Who we got? You're good, you're good. Who is that? Is that Holly Pond? All right, two from Holly Pond. All right, I like your energy. And then the tallest hand, yes, you point at yourself, yes. So he's already on stage. Why don't you go upstairs? All right, then over here, who we have? We got Vinemont. All right, two from Vinemont. Okay, yes, you wave it at me. And then, you in the back right there, yeah. All right, Fairview. Oh, we already got them nominated right here, but 1 and 2. All right, so who's coming downstairs? All right. West Point. Who are we going for West Point? Oh, man, I got a big spread here. Blue hoodie. I'm going to pick one from this side. KB, because you my dog, all right? Who's coming downstairs? KB's coming downstairs, so you stay up there. Is that every school? Anyone? CDC? Anyone from CDC want to play? I need 2. All right, 1. Who's the other one? There's the other one. All right, 1 stay upstairs, 1 come down here. All right, which one of you is going to go upstairs? Either one of you? Who's going upstairs? You want to go upstairs? Show him how to get upstairs real quick. He'll show him where to go. Yes, thank you. All right. All right. So you have an opportunity to win some gift cards today. I have some Chick-fil-A gift cards. I got some Starbucks gift cards. I got some Walmart gift cards. And this is how it works. You have one person from each school, 1 upstairs, 1 downstairs. One person's going to hold a hula hoop. So let's say we'll start with West Point. And up there with the West Point, who's with West Point up there? All right. You're going to have 4 Frisbees. You have an opportunity to throw 4 Frisbees down here, and she's going to try to ring the Frisbee through the hula hoop. All right? The more you do, the better chance you have of winning. Now, which school you go to? CDC. All right, who's my man up here? All right, so you're going to give him 4 Frisbees. All right, and you both will compete at the same exact time, and whoever gets the most will have an opportunity to win bonus gift cards. All right, are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, Lord. I got 1. We got 1. All right, so now, KB, you're going to get a gift card, but you have an option to win an additional gift card by something very simple. You can either share me 1 mental health fact you have learned, or what is something you would share to someone who struggles with mental health. You can volunteer to say yes to this, or just say, you know what, I just want my 1 gift card and I'm good.
Okay, give me 2.
All right, what's your mental health fact?
See something, say something.
See something, say something. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Thank y'all. All right, help me get these Frisbees. We're going to give them to our runners.
Take them back up there.
Yeah, you can. Give them to Colton. There you go. All right, you're good. Thank you, buddy. Hey, let me give you a gift card. Thanks for participating, bud. All right. Now, who's your people? Who's your people up there?
I got one in the red shirt.
All right, Carter. And that's your person right there? All right, same rules apply. You're going to get 4 Frisbees each.
Do not sell,
They're coming, yeah. All right, so this is Good Hope versus who? Holly Pond. Broncos versus Raiders. Let's go. All right, are you ready? 4 each. 3, 2, 1, go. He has 3 over here. How many did you have over here? 3? I'm getting, They say they have 2. They say they had 3. So it's either. All right, my man up. Okay, I'm sorry. Holly Pond, I was trying to give you a chance. All right, same thing. You can get an additional, by the way, thanks for playing with us, bud.
He gave it to him.
You can have an additional gift card if you want to share a mental health fact or something you would share with a friend who's struggling with mental health.
I think I'm gonna
Go to Walmart?
say something I've learned.
All right,
Do not send naughty pictures.
there you go. He says, don't send naughty pictures. That is a great lesson to learn. Thanks, man. There you go. Here, let me give you an extra card.
I'm a new hat.
All right. Here you go. There you go, Colton. You only got 2 up there? All right. Who's your person upstairs? All right. And what school y'all go to? Cold Springs. Cold Springs. Who's your person? Okay. What school y'all go to? Vinemont versus Cold Springs. Okay. So far, this side hasn't won yet. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the aerodynamics or something from upstairs.
Is that 4? Here we go.
All right, everybody got 4? All right, y'all ready? Hey, you seen how it's done already. You just got to be easy. Be easy, man. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, God. Oh, that counts. Oh, deflected. Oh, my man. Is that it? So we had 2 to 1. Oh.
Get up, team.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Thank you so much. There you go. Thank you for participating with us. All right, you ready? Our last group here. Now, I know Kane is a legend around here, but I got to ask my man a question real quick. All right, so gave everybody the opportunity. Now you can get an extra gift card. No, matter of fact, let's go upstairs. Let's go upstairs. Did your person leave?
Yeah, yep, they have left. Where are they at? What was their name? All right, here we go. You have the opportunity to get another gift card. All we need is a mental health fact or something you would say to someone struggling with mental health. Go talk to someone. Let's give it up for go talk to someone.
All right. We have Hansfield versus, now what school y'all representing? Fairview.
Thank you.
All right. Bulldogs versus Aggies.
Is that 4?
What's up, brothers?
Have it count them.
Let's go. All right.
Hey.
3, 2,
Hey.
1. Let her fly.
Hey, we're 1.
There it is. Okay. Yeah, boy.
Hey, I need.
Was that it?
No, they only had 3. They need 1 more. Big throw, Andrew. Here we go.
Oh, this is a lot of pressure.
I'll dive over.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay.
All right. No pressure here. Put
All
the
right.
game on the line.
This is your chance to
Full
tie.
behind you.
No pressure.
What does he do? Oh.
Wow. Which one do you prefer? All right,
John?
there you go. Appreciate you. Appreciate you so much.
Oh, no. I thought they lost.
Kane, my man. There you go. Gift card. Thanks for participating. Upstairs. Caleb, I'm going to turn it to you. You want to give them a chance to win an extra one.
All right, with an extra 1, man, you know what we need? We need a mental health fact, or we need something you would say to someone struggling with mental health. Loud and proud.
If you need help, get help.
If you need help, get help! Yeah! 2 of them. There you go.
Well, we appreciate everybody participating and being energetic. Right now, I'm going to invite Miss Karen Pinion up here, and we need you just want to choose a student to come help with us. All right, give me, I've already used you. Give me somebody I haven't used yet. All right, I like you because you look friendly. Okay. She's going to come up, and we're going to do some drawings to give away some cash, some cold, hard cash, right? 2 $50 bills right now going out. So you're going to help us draw some names.
Angelina James. Sydney Holt from West Point High School. Congratulations. Did I say her name right? Did I say I consider myself incredibly blessed and fortunate to have crossed paths with Mark and Kim Holinsky of Holinsky's Hope. It's been an incredible few months. Can't say how much you guys mean to me and how much it means to all of us for you to come and share your story about Tyler. Mark and Kim Holinsky. Yes, did you
All right. Thank you, Karen. There are too many special guests here to name them all by name, but we have been blessed to meet so many of the wonderful mental health service coordinators over the last, as you say, is the last couple months or so. And we're thrilled to be here to share this Tyler Talk with you guys. I want to go over just a couple of housekeeping things. This is a tough story, right? It's a tough story to tell. It's a tough story to hear. This is somewhere near 250 plus. So we've done it a bunch of times. Each one's a little bit different. Neither Kim or I are mental health coordinators or mental health experienced anything. We're sort of grieving parents. So we're also not public speakers, which you'll get here soon. But we want to share this story with you. It's a sad story, of course, but the point of it is hope. We lost Tyler without him saying anything. Never wrote a note, never met with a counselor, never shared anything with his friends, and seemed to have it all. And we thought, if this can happen to Tyler, it can happen to any of us. That's not to scare you, that's just how it is. And so we share this, some of the breadcrumbs that we found along the way, what we think might have happened to Tyler, what kind of kid he was. And we hope that those messages or those stories resonate with some of you. They won't be for all of you. We may laugh and cry. You may do the same. It's all good. If you need to walk out, all fine as well. You won't hurt our feelings. But we appreciate it. We know how hard this was to put together. What an incredible community that we're just thrilled to be part of. Last couple things. Take us about an hour. We appreciate your kindness and patience if we struggle up here. And we're here for you. This isn't us. This is all about you guys. Look around you. All the parents, all the staff that put this together, worked on this, that volunteered their day It's not for them either, it's for you guys. If you get nothing else out of this, like nothing else, I want you to remember one thing from me. You don't need a tragedy or a dramatic instance in your life to ask for help. There's not a mental health coordinator, there's not a licensed mental health professional that will ever say, I'm sorry, you're not sick enough to see me. I'd like to have you come back in 6 months. And we know that's so difficult. I heard the talk a little earlier about the phones and embarrassment. There is, in the world of mental health, this idea of stigma that prevents us sometimes from getting the help we need. You'll notice Kim and I don't say committed suicide for your age group. You don't commit cancer. You don't commit ALS. You pass from a disease process associated with those things. It's no different for mental health. And while not everybody is suicidal that has mental health concerns, we don't want you to struggle in silence. I'm going to play a quick 2-minute video, kind of catch up on Holinsky's Hope and Tyler's story that'll get us started. Deal? All right, here we go.
His was a light that burned from within and shone out into the world in beams of joy that lit up everything around him.
No, not one time. Have I ever seen him down, ever?
It really was this bright light in the room, and it almost as if the weight of the world was never on his shoulders. He always stood tall. He always had a smile on his face.
Breezy, bright smiles.
His smile is beautiful. And when he smiles, his eyes get these little lines.
Laser beam throws.
And I know that I'm going to be going to a great program in Wazoo and playing for head coach Mike Leach. I can't wait. I'm excited.
He is a really easygoing guy. He's everybody's type.
And moments of sheer electricity that ignited a legend.
And he left and he went to Pullman because he loved the people.
What he did on a Saturday night on the Palouse. Against Boise State, against all odds.
Touchdown, Washington State.
I mean, he played like Superman, almost.
Will be talked about forever.
A rush of 4. Holinsky has his left. Caught made at the catchment to the 20-yard line. Morrow to the 10. Runs for the win. Dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Washington State. Touchdown, Washington State if it stands.
The ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
It's a comeback for the ages. An all-time Cougar win.
They carried him off the field that night, under the lights. There were a lot of things right with Tyler Holinsky, but there was something wrong too. Something dark and ominous that took hold of his soul and wouldn't let go.
Finally just kind of opened up and said, I'm sad, but I can't base the sadness off anything. I can't pick one thing that I'm sad about. It's just an overwhelming sadness.
That overwhelming sadness was depression, mental illness. A week after Tyler took his own life, hundreds and hundreds of people gathered at the Cougar statue in front of Martin Stadium. Not a word was spoken, but 1,000 questions were asked, and they are still being asked. If even the brightest and the strongest are no match for the disease, what chance do the rest of us have?
If you have a sprained ankle, you go see the trainer. If you get hit in the head, you got to go through a concussion protocol. And we have to start to treat, some of this mental illness stuff the same way.
But Tyler's light still shines. It shines on research and science. It shines on shattering stigmas, and it illuminates the mystifying darkness that surrounds mental illness. It's a path, a beacon. It's a hope. We call it Holinsky's Hope.
I left out one other thing. There's a lot of football in here. It's just where our kids were. It's where Tyler was. It was a big part of his life. And we have used athletics, collegiate athletics, to get this message of awareness across because they have the biggest cameras and audiences, right? This has nothing to do with the sport itself. For all my athletes here, you'll understand if you're in the band, you're esports guy, you'll get just as much out of this. My son was a student first. In order for some of these stories to make sense, I got to tell you a little bit about Tyler, and we kind of boiled it down to a couple things. Can't do any justice in 5 minutes on a child, let alone one that's not with you. So I'd ask you to think about just two things that we learned about Tyler through this process. The first one we actually knew because he's our son, and there was 5 of us, right? The Holinsky family of 5, all boys, all athletes, generally great, kids to us, and we love them to death. But Tyler was the middle child, and he was the B-type personality. You know those guys? You know the A's, right? My oldest and youngest A-types. Something happens in class, they get in trouble, they lose a game, they wear it, right? You see them walking down the halls, you see them in the locker rooms, you see them in the classrooms. Those guys wear it on their sleeves, right? You know how they feel just by looking at them. Tyler was different. He was, I hate to say it, he was a mama's boy, to be honest. Between the lines, hyper competitive. As competitive as any kid I've met. But outside, he was a pizza and movies and hang out with the folks. He was boring in a sense, but we love that about him. For those of you that have kids, you'll understand this. We love all of our children, of course, but we really like Tyler. He was a good one. He was easy. The second piece is, after he passed, it's interesting, I'll be honest with you. I asked to speak to the team after he died, and I didn't know why. I was sort of compelled to say something, And the message I was trying to give them was, don't be mad at Tyler, which in itself has stigma attached to it. What do I care what they think about him, right? He's gone. We have no idea why. But yet I was in front of these kids all taking a knee in the weight room, and I said, don't be mad at my son. He didn't do this to you or to us. He was sick. He didn't ask for help, didn't want to be a burden to anybody, apparently. And so when we followed up and asked the questions, we'd hear things like, oh, he was a bright light in the room. Really? Tyler? That wasn't his personality, And so we pushed a little further and we said, give us examples. What do you mean by that? And so they told us virtually the same story, and it was things like this. Well, when we were at this party or at this event, I'd see Tyler and I'd just feel better. I said, well, tell me about that. What made you feel better? Well, my mom had surgery on her wrist, 3 months ago, and he's asking me about it. He's the only one that remembers, like things like that. We said, okay, that sounds more like Tyler, but he's no rock star. He doesn't walk in the thing in an event, with a spotlight on him. And as we pushed and asked further, we realized, well, he's doing all the talking. He's asking you how you're doing. And it makes it real easy not to tell anybody how he's doing. Those are the two pieces. He's funny, he's goofy. His favorite word is awesome. But he's a tremendous kid, and we miss him every day. This first story, I'll try to do it quickly here for you. This first story is about Tyler's roommate, number 88. This is C.J. Demery. He's a receiver on the team. He was Tyler's roommate, best friends. These guys, thick as thieves, just 3.5 years, they got real close in school. And CJ was a lot like Tyler. He very quiet, probably heard 50 words from the kid in 3.5 years. 2 burgers, or whatever he'd say. But we loved him. And when Tyler passed, we had a memorial service, not unlike this, right? A bunch of people, friends, family, come to help us, and we sat up here and talked about him and played the music he liked and showed pictures and cried our eyes out and tried to make sense of this, but we were surrounded by family, people that cared about him, cared about us, and we appreciated that. The schools flew the team down as well, and we all kind of helped each other get through it. I was the last one to talk that day. And, a lot like I'm doing now, I'm wandering around a little nervous, sad as heck. But I wanted to get information to them about Tyler. And as I'm doing that, I'm saying, thanks for coming. It's been a long day. We all miss him. I noticed CJ, he's sort of creeping up the side. There's a little podium in front. And you could tell by the way he was walking that it was purposeful, but he was also uncomfortable, right? You just saw that. And I know this is the kid's personality anyway, so I was surprised to see him coming up. And as I get done, I kind of lean over to the side. How you doing, CJ? He said, hey, Mr. Olinsky, can I talk to you for a second? I said, absolutely, sure. And he said, Mr. Olinsky, I don't know if you know this. Well, actually, let me tell you, the very first thing he said was this. Hey, you know how I don't have a car, right? Like, that's CJ. And he did, I'm thinking, there's no way he's asking me for Tyler's car, right? And he wasn't. He was just nervous. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. And I see that. And so he comes up and he says, hey, Mr. Olinsky, after the car, he goes, can I talk to you? I have a question for you. Yep, absolutely. And he said, but first, I don't know if you know this, but my mom died of cancer when I was very young. And I knew that. Kim and I we're helicopter parents. If you don't know what that is, we're at everything. We're handing out flyers. We're getting you guys lunch. We're going to events, spring games, and signing T-shirts at the hospital. If you're there, we're there, right? You know those parents. Give them a break. They love you. And so I knew this about his family. No disrespect to his mom, but he was 5 or 6 when she passed. The family we knew, his dad played in the league for 10 years, remarried, they have a beautiful family. And so it hit me a little bit. And I said, oh, CJ, I'm sorry, did something today we were talking about hurt you or make you feel a certain way? And again, he's sort of waving me off. No, I'm good. He goes, but I was going to therapy the last two and a half years. I thought, well, good, that's great for you. How's that working? He said, it's actually really good. I go a lot. And the thing is, Tyler took me to every appointment. And then he'd go on to describe where it is, small town like this, up in Pullman. And he'd describe, the drive up there. And he'd say, Mr. Olinsky, he would drive me up, drop me off, and then he'd run and get food or tacos or burritos or whatever, and come back and wait for me. I'd get out of the appointment, and we'd sit and talk about my appointment for an hour sometimes. Not always about his mom, football, girls, school, whatever. I said, well, that's great. And he said, well, it's great, but he also asked me how it went. Do you get anything out of that? What does she say? And he went on and they talked about this. But then he said something that hit me, it sticks with me every day, that he said, Mr. Olinsky, he was 20 feet from help. He was 20 feet, and he's describing the door he goes in to see his counselor. He said, he dropped me off. He knows that this has been helpful for me. He's interested. He's asking me questions about it. Why didn't he ask me? We're supposed to be friends. He was hurt by that, right? Not terribly, but he was hurt enough to share it with me. And I have a lot of questions for Tyler, I promise you. Someday I hope to ask him. And this is one of them. Why didn't you tell us? Why couldn't you have shared that you were struggling this hard? And we were in another city, different state, a couple years ago, doing the same thing we did last night, right? Get notes ready for you guys, fix up the slides, call Miss Karen 40 times, get her map with the color codes on it, get all right. And we were doing that somewhere else. And as I'm putting these together, you're thinking about what you're going to do the next day. And I remember it vividly. And I was showing Kim, the slides that we were changing and stuff. And it kind of hit me when I said to Tyler in my mind, and I don't want you to think I heard voices or anything, but I was asking him the same question. And I listen, I lost my son to suicide on my watch. And so you can take this with a grain of salt if you like. But I have a really good idea of what he would have said. And it's as simple as this. Tyler would have said, Dad, his mom died. Of course he needs help. I'm proud of him. I'm glad he got help. What's wrong with me? Got a car, a little bit of gas, friends, coaches he respected, teammates that he loved to death. I'm certain he couldn't figure out, with a guy that seemingly has so much, how could this be something he couldn't fix by himself? And I want you to think about that, because I've done this a number of times. We visit with you guys afterwards. We're happy to do it today. And the things that we hear from you is this: I don't want to be a burden to anybody. I should be able to fix this myself. Well, let me tell you, you can't fix an ACL tear by yourself. You can't recover from cancer and fight that disease without help. Sometimes you can't do this without help. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. And I encourage all of you, if you're not struggling, remember that about your friends. I'm not going to give you a lesson on kindness, but there's a lot to do with it here. Tyler loved his guys. I'm certain he didn't do this to them or to us. He got sick and didn't know a way out. I'm going to share a little bit more of that with you here. Of the many things you miss when you lose your child, is you don't get those, goofy selfies or texts from your kids, even the tough ones. Hey, Dad, you got $20 for gas or whatever. You miss those. And what do? You look at old pictures. You watch. God bless the internet for some things, not for most. But I went through one night and I was pulling everything I could find. I just wanted to hear his voice again. I wanted to see him. I know it sounds goofy, but that's what I was doing one night. And I came across the things I want to share with you real quick. I found after he passed. These aren't interviews from ESPN or anything. These are the ones that they do regionally that you never really see unless you're the parents, helicopter parents like us. We hadn't seen them. And you guys know this. For videos, on YouTube, you can sort of stack them on top of each other. And I was going through these, and they go on and on, I promise. We're only going to take a little chunk of these today to share them with you. But I want to go through them real quick and tell you why they're important at the end. Okay, so the setup on this is, the first one you saw in the video, they had played some big game, ranked in the top 25, losing, down by 21 points in the fourth quarter. Coach Leach kicks in the new quarterback with the message, don't throw it to the other team, right? Just have at it. And Tyler got in and had a great time. This is that first interview. So he died January 16th, 2018. This is going to be September of 2017. And the rest of what we're talking about sort of is between those two, unless we say otherwise. So listen to this first one and we'll tell you why.
Big time situations. What was the feeling like as you got getting closer and closer and kept going out the field and getting more intense?
I was just playing football out there, surrounded by a great group of guys. Just told me they had faith in me. I was just ready to do my job.
Tyler, this entire fall camp, you've been a guy that's riling up other players, high-fiving guys. Guys seem to really like you and want to be around you. How is that getting in the game and knowing that you were just hugging it up with Jamal right before you guys got here, knowing that these guys are going to come to battle for you and that they believe in you 110%?
Shoot, it goes both ways, you know what I mean? Yeah, he was hugging me. I was hugging him too, you know what I mean? Jamal's probably even more so, Jamal's probably the favorite guy on the team, so.
And I love my son, and I love to listen to him, but he's no public speaker either, is he? Easy to do, big game, they had fun, they won. We love this about our athletes. We love this about our kids. They share, right? They share in the success, and they love doing that. The next one is about 3, 4, 5 games later. We go down to Arizona. Kind of the same problem. We're down by 21 by halftime. Coach throws in Tyler. He goes in, kind of does the same thing. They run up and down the field a bunch, and we lose. So let's listen to that one real quick.
Yeah, I felt like we were executing on offense. I felt everybody was doing their jobs, besides the turnovers for sure. The offensive line played their butts off tonight. I mean, besides that one play where I held on to the ball too long, I mean, I had tons of time back there. Wide receivers were getting open. Just some critical plays where I made mistakes is really what it came down to.
A little different when you lose, I know. But here's what we love. You take your responsibility. Hey, listen, if it wasn't for me, we probably would have won. That kid threw for 504 yards and 4 touchdowns in the second half. And we lost that game, and he's still trying to take the blame for it. You hear him at the end, didn't read what the defense was giving me, that kind of stuff. And we love this as well, right? You take responsibility for your stuff. You protect your guys. This last one, and then I'll tell you why. This last one is 2 weeks before he died. This is the last game, first game he ever started. It was a bowl game. Played Michigan State. They were better than us on paper. They were better on the field. But it was a competitive game. And this is what he said after that game. Let me play it for you here.
A lot of that was me missing reads and stuff, and just we weren't able to push it downfield.
And I just wonder if you could just evaluate your own play, how you felt like it went for you tonight.
We didn't win, so not good.
So here's the thing. I'm watching these, and there's more of them, and they go on and on. I'm watching them, and Tyler has these cheekbones that as he loses or gains weight, they sort of change or disappear, or more prominent and stuff. There's dark lines underneath his eyes. We know that he was 225 when the season started. His autopsy had him at 15 pounds lighter. In football, you lose some weight at the end of the season, stop lifting and stuff, but that was an awful lot of weight. And I show Kim, and I'm stacking them. You can put them right on top of each other. I won't do it here. And what does that do? It shows us, we were surprised, that he was transforming sort of throughout the season. And it didn't really I didn't put it all together until this very last thing. Tyler, if you asked him a question about a game or a performance or a teammate, he would still be answering it, until you shut him up or asked another question. And the question, if you didn't hear it, they asked him, so evaluate your own performance. And all he said was, we lost, not good. Now, had I seen any of these before he died, I would not have rushed him to the hospital. I would not have called emergency services. Knowing he passed makes me look at it differently. And the reason I want to share it with you is to remind you that the 5.0s, the incredible students, the incredible student athletes, the ones that seemingly have it all together, that seem to be happy all the time, this is a disease that can affect anybody. Anybody. Whatever your background is. However your parents and you get along. In Tyler's case, to us, they're little breadcrumbs. That's all they are. But had I known what I know now, I would have talked to him differently, right? Less about the game and the loss, but how he felt about those things. Because as I mentioned before, Tyler had a way of turning everything into a question for somebody else. And I thought it was real important to share that with you. They're small, I get it. But if your friends, the people you know the best, are changing in front of you, it's okay to have those conversations. Kim's going to talk to you a little bit here about that when she's up here. Raise your hand on this one. If you've ever been told by your parents, aunts and uncles, grandparents, anybody that helped raise you, now, earlier, depending on your age, that said anything of the kind like this. if you ever get in trouble, you ever get arrested, you're ever embarrassed, you're scared, call me. I'm going to come and get you. I'm going to get you out of the trouble. We're going to do this together. I'm not going to yell and scream. We'll deal with that tomorrow. But right now, I'm the guy you need to call, right? Anybody get a version of that talk? Bunch of you? Yeah. So as helicopter parents, we gave that one, right? And when Tyler was 17, right, roughly your ages, when he was 17, on a Thursday at 9:30 at night, right? Not 4 in the morning at the clubs. He's up in somebody's house at a party 20 minutes from our house, suburbs out in Southern California. And we get a phone call from him. Kim and I are at the kitchen table, and like old people do, we put it on speakerphone. Hey, Ty. Hey, you remember that time you told me if I ever did anything wrong, I was okay, and you wouldn't yell and scream at me? You remember that? Kim's like, yeah, absolutely, I remember. Okay, well, I need you to come and get me. Okay, deal. Hang up, get his location, and like the FBI, right, we jump in the car and race up there. And the whole way, we're looking at each other like, remember what we said? Smells like weed or alcohol, don't say anything. Let's just make sure he's okay. We did this to him, a bunch of times. So he comes popping down from this big house. Comes into the car, we're watching. He's athletic, but is he tripping? What's he doing? Comes down, gets in the car, shuts the door, we take off. Doesn't say anything. About halfway home, like mid-sentence, he says, oh, okay, I'm sorry, you guys. Let me tell you. And then he goes on and tells us what happened. Seems okay. And I'm sure this happens all the time around the country. He basically just described, this is a big school. He had 3,300 kids in this school. Knew a lot of them, but not all of them. They go to a party. A few of the guys, hey, quarterback, tough guy. Smoke these, drink this, take those. And I'm not telling you this because I think Tyler's cool for making a good choice that day. That's not the point. I'm glad he did. I want you to do the same. But he just sort of roamed around with his guys, place to place. Not an aggressive kid off the field. They ask him again. They follow him around. He finally says, you know what? I thought about what you told me. I thought, I'm out of here. I'll call my mom. Boom, I'm gone. And we're listening to this. We pull in and park, get inside. Again, give him a pizza or whatever. As we're talking to him, he seems okay. And I said, Tyler, I'm so glad you told me. I'm so happy that you trusted us enough, to do the right thing, at least try to do the thing we said. But I have to tell you, as your dad, those knuckleheads are going to be at school tomorrow. You have a game tomorrow. They're going to be finding you and say, what? You had to call your mom? Jeez. So I was just, I'm proud of him, but I was warning him. And he said, I've seen this look 3 or 4 times in my life from him. And he said, with all the conviction you can muster, like I had 3 heads. I love my mom. Those kids, just easy for me to call you guys and get out of there. I am not worried about them one bit. And I was proud of that too, right? I was excited that he kind of got it. Tyler was a lot of things. I don't want you to think I think he was perfect. He was just perfect to us, right? We get Tyler to bed, and we're sitting across from each other at the dining table or the kitchen table, and we're almost high-fiving. Right? One of our kids, you listen to us. Listen to your parents. Went to bed, and we thought, of course Tyler would be that kid. It made sense to us that it was hard for him, but he shared that with us. And we thought, well, if any of them would do it, it would be Tyler. We were so proud. This is the last slide for me, you guys. I want to share a couple things. Bad news often comes with a phone call, right? And that's what we got. And you know on your phone, you kids know this, if you don't have somebody saved as a contact and they call you, what do you get? The number and the city and state, right? And I see this phone ring. This is like middle of the day on the 16th. And it's to my phone, and it's Pullman, Washington. Number I don't recognize. Helicopter parent, I knew every coach, family, their kids, names, all that. How do I not have this guy on my phone? Who is this? Who's calling me? Like before you even answer. And I knew what it was. I thought, well, that's it. Tyler's up there practicing. He tore an ACL. They're calling to tell me this somehow, right? Man, how'd I wish. And so I pick up the phone. This is Mark. Hey, Mr. Olinsky, this is Coach Huff. And right away, who is Coach Huff? Right? I knew everybody. This is a guy, poor guy, got the short straw as a new coach. That's the silly season for coaches. People hire and fire, go to new places. And he had to call me, and he said, Mr. Olinsky, I'm calling because Tyler missed practice today. I said, Tyler missed practice. Again, not because he's a cool kid and goes to practice and all that. He just loved practice. He loved the overtime game because there's more chances. Coach Leach, you're going to throw the ball 90 times a game. He just wanted to be out there with his guys. He enjoyed all that. And so when he said he missed practice, I said, he's 21 years old. What are you calling me for? In my head, you know. But there was just something about the way he talked that buckled my knees a little bit. And then takes a breath and adds, and we filed a missing persons report. Wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, he played his first bowl game. We go to vacation. No girlfriends, no buddies, just the five of us. We go to Mexico for a few days. We just relax. Kids seemed fine. Tyler was a little bummed because of the game. Not that unusual. He goes back to school, and now he's missing. Now they're calling the cops to find him. So Kim's listening to all this, right? As I'm talking to Coach, she starts calling the parents. Where's my son? Call your boys. Where is he at? Where's his car? What's going on? She calls Kelly, my oldest. He's in Utah. And he's calling the guys he knows on the team. Where's my brother? Help me find him. This is all within seconds, right? And as I hang up, Kim says, Mark, you got to go find him. 3-hour flight away, go find him. And she was right. Tyler was awesome, but he'd fit in the South. He couldn't drive. He was a horrible driver. Bumper cars, I just kind of scratched it up a little bit there. And so your mind wants to help you, right? And I start thinking about all the things that probably isn't, but I wish it is. Parked it in a ditch, ran out of gas, phone's out of battery. That's Tyler. That could be him, And of course it wasn't. So I hustled down, I get in the car, shaking like a leaf. I call my brother, hey, I need to get to Pullman quick. I got to find Tyler. Same answer. Tyler? Oh, bub, he's fine. Don't worry. You'll find him. He'll be okay. Trust me. He's a good kid. Somehow if he's a good kid, nothing bad could happen to him, right? I said, help me get a ticket because I can't while I'm driving. Get the ticket, show up, get through security. And I get a text from my oldest, Kelly. And Kelly's that A-type, right? If Kelly had found Tyler okay, this is what he would have called me first, not text. I found him. I knew who to call. I know his all secret hiding spots, whatever. I'm not picking on Kelly. That's just his personality. And so when I saw that, all it said was from Kelly and Dad underneath. And I don't know why, you guys, I knew Tyler was gone. I didn't know he died by suicide. I just knew he was gone. I'm in the middle of an airport and I just fall to my knees. Somebody walks by and said, don't worry, there's another flight tomorrow. And I thought, the world should stop. I'm missing my best guy. How is anybody doing what they do, right? That's what you're thinking. And I pull myself together as best I can. I call Kim and I'm crying and I'm saying I'm sorry and I don't know what happened. And on the other end, Kim says, well, you know Kelly. He gets stuff wrong sometimes. What? That's her answer? And just, guys, for a fraction of a second, I thought, you know what? She's right. That could be Kelly, just getting it wrong. Don't I want it to be, right? Brain's trying to help you. That's not what happened. And about that time, as I'm driving home, my phone starts to blow up. Family, friends, same thing, not Tyler. Can't be Tyler. Please, Mark, tell me it's not true. Once they broadcast that kept coming. Now, my youngest, Ryan, is at practice in high school. And what I was feeling was him texting me over and over again, Dad, please come home. Hurry, please, where are you? And when I got home, he's upstairs with his mom. She can't breathe. She was in denial. She was so in denial, she didn't think it was true, right? That's denial. And then she couldn't breathe. And so I got a 16, 17-year-old trying to call 911, trying to give her a bag to breathe in. And I walk into the scene, and your life has changed forever, obviously. And so what do? You immediately start to do what you can. We call 911, the paramedics get there, they stabilize Kim, they take her to the hospital, we ride along. At this time, now we have friends and family at the hospital, they're coming to the house, they're all in tears, and we take care of Kim, and we make it back, midnight, knowing we got to get up in the morning and fly up there and take care of Tyler. Sign papers, see him one last time, whatever, pay for stuff, right? Parent stuff. And we stayed up all night waiting for that flight. As we got there, the first person we see is the coroner. And this, like I said, small town, she knows Tyler personally. They were signing kids' diapers at some, event and knew him well. And she hugged me and she said, Mr. Helinski, I want you to know, kind of whispered it, I want you to know something. Tyler died Tyler passed in a manner that he made sure he didn't hurt anybody else. And I thought about that and I got real angry. Like, what does that even mean? And the idea that you can make a decision to end your life, but also protect other people is just one of the complexities that we deal with our brains. What do you do when you're there? We had just sort of taken our deep breath and started asking what happened to him. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell us. Everybody's stumped. So what do? We wanted to find his phone. And we found his laptop. What did it have? Schoolwork, and his iPad had football stuff on it, but we couldn't find his phone. And I'm telling you guys, we went through the creek and we went through the bushes and the trash and all. I couldn't find it. And we thought that was unusual. Why? What? I wanted to know who he was talking to. Who was he texting? What was he searching for? We couldn't find it. We end up leaving, go back home, and for, 3 or 4 months, still thinking about it, assumed it's gone for good. Kim gets a call. Ms. Helinski, this is the chief of police, Pullman. We found Tyler's phone. Well, actually, the people that moved into his apartment found his phone. Light hit just right. It was in a baseboard heater in the hallway. He just, those long toaster-looking things that just sort of radiate heat? He had dropped it in there. We were excited to get the phone back. He sends it to us. What do? Plug it in. We know Tyler's favorite password, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Simple. Or all threes or whatever. Girlfriend knew one, brothers knew one, Kim and I knew a couple. Tried those. Your talk earlier, I was listening to back in the back and reminded me again of this so much. We get that phone, plug it in. None of those worked. And it's an iPhone, so you know, you get that wrong enough times, it times you out. You do it 10 times, wrecks all the data. And we didn't want that to happen. So a much longer story, a group called Celebrate doesn't really work. They work with PD and the Mossad and FBI and others to crack phones for law enforcement. And, you know, a friend of a friend knew somebody. They said, we can help you. So we gave it to them. They said, look, we could blow it up, screw up the data, who knows, but we'll try. This is our best effort. And so they hang it on a server that their IP is, it convinces the phone that each time is the first time. So it just runs, and they run an algorithm that says the most likely 6 numbers and so forth. And this lasts about a week. I get a call, hey, it worked. We got it. We got everything. All those Snapchats you think are deleted, we got it all. Put it in for Kim and I, put it in a big 2 terabyte drive, linked all the pictures, all the search terms we gave them, suicide, depression, etc. Then we get this back. Kim and I stayed up 18 hours in a row, looking at clicking everything, looking at everything. I'll tell you about that in a second. But here's the thing. Some of this is, I don't know at the time, but I know now. And I look at the phone, and the phone has, you know those little Post-it notes, little yellow sticky notes? On the phone, on the back, it's got his Coug card, his driver's license, his little credit card. It was, you know, it was emotional. That was the last thing I think he held at some point, and he dropped it in this vent. And I'm looking at the yellow sticky, and it says PW : 6 numbers. Now, I promise you, Kim and I both looked at the same time and said, Tyler would not remember those 6 numbers. There's no rhyme or reason, on the phone, there's no rhyme or reason to it. And I'm not joking about that. Like, we've never heard of or seen anything like it. And it bothered, more than anything, it bothered us. Like, what's the significance, if any, of that? What I didn't know at the time, that he had changed the password. We had the metadata, right? He had changed the password just 3 days before he died. About 2 weeks after this, I'm on the road, business. My wife calls, and she's crying. My sister's on the phone. They're both crying. We figured it out. We figured it out. So what'd you figure out? Well, the only English language word that works for those numbers is the word sorry. Now, you guys are smart. Sorry has 5 letters. This one had 6. So he either added an extra Y or his high school number 9 that he loved. And I know that now. I know that he changed it on purpose 3 days before he died. I can't tell you for sure that he was typing in sorry. But this is why bother you with this stuff? Here's why. This is a kid at 17, at your age. He could do nothing wrong in our eyes. He wasn't embarrassed to ask for help when he needed it. He'd take on the whole school. My mom came pick me up. You got a problem with that? Deal with me. That kind of attitude. And yet, at 21, the most important decision he's ever going to make, couldn't call, couldn't text, couldn't ask for help. And we were told he left a note. Okay, we raced up there. What's this note? It's no note. He had written something down. We've never said what it actually says, but it doesn't add anything to the conversation. Dear Mom, that's why I had to go. I'm sorry, but. Hey, listen, we were ready for anything. Dear Dad, I'm struggling with drugs, I'm whatever. I didn't get anything. At 17, he could do that. At 21, he couldn't. And the only thing we know about it is that he struggled, that he got sick, he didn't ask for help, and in his case, he passed. We do these talks for one reason. The modules for one reason. game plan, the podcast, all the stuff we do at Helsinki's Hope. Because there are things that we think Tyler would have responded to, that would have pushed the needle on the scale just a little more in his favor. That's why. I don't do this to upset you. I do it so you think about these things in the future. Don't let these breadcrumbs go to waste. Talk to each other. Love each other, enjoy each other. And if you struggle, let's get the help you need. I'm gonna let Kim finish up. I know how hard this is just to sit still for an hour, so I appreciate greatly all of you doing that. Kim will finish up, and we'll be up here. Any of you wanna share a story, wanna talk, hug it out, you know we're not therapists, we'd love to hear it. Have a great day, thank you.
Remind myself to breathe. You know, Mark said, if you get nothing out of today, just remember that you don't need a tragedy to ask for help, and he's right. I want you to walk away with 3 different things from me. One of them is, this is a talk of hope, right? We're just trying to give you hope. The second one is love. I don't know you, but I heard the pastor saying this before, and the sheriff saying it before too, but I sure do love you. So do the people that are sitting next to you. Everybody in this room loves you. And the third thing is this word precious that came to me 3 times today. And that's not a word I use, and I'll share that with you in a little bit. So when we lost Tyler, right, my son, my sweet son, my buddy, I didn't know how to keep on living. I honestly didn't. I didn't know if I could ever breathe again, if I'd ever walk again. So I decided that we kind of had 3 choices, right? As a family, we had 3 choices, and 3 is a powerful number for us. It was Tyler's jersey number at Washington State, and it's a powerful number, and probably a lot of you know that. So I brought my guys together, my Mark, my Kelly, and my Ryan, and we talked about our choices. And the first one was we were going to stay in Southern California. We're just going to dig our heads in the sand, and I was going to try to ignore the fact that Tyler was gone. I was going to tell myself that he was on a mission somewhere or on a long vacation, and he was going to come back. He was going to walk through my front door, and in that little voice like you heard in the first video, "Hey, Mama, I'm home." But I knew that wasn't going to happen. It wasn't the truth. He wasn't coming back. So I went to the second option. I was going to take my guys, and we were going to run away. We were going to find an island somewhere where we would just sit, maybe try to smile again, maybe laugh. But I couldn't run away. I know that I had work to do. And so we went with option number 3, which is to form Helsinki's Hope, right? Before Tyler died, my oldest son, Kelly, had a poem on his Instagram wallpaper. And I remember reading it years before and thinking it was actually beautiful. And then it came to me again after Tyler passed, and I'll share it with you. They say you die twice. The first time when you take your last breath, and the second time a bit later on when someone says your name for the last time. I didn't save my son the first time. I'm his mom. I didn't know he was sick. I had no idea. And he didn't tell me. He called me at 17 to take him out of a situation he wasn't comfortable with. But at 21, he couldn't pick up that phone and say, "Mama, I need you." And I think that's the stigma that's attached to mental illness. And I think it runs so strong for your age group. So I told myself I wasn't going to let Tyler die twice. I was going to keep sharing his story, keep saying his name over and over and over again, in the hopes that it will touch a life, that it will change a life, and possibly save a life, right? So the mission of Helinski's Hope, there's 3 parts to it. The first is to raise awareness, and we do that in a bunch of different ways. You got some bands we put on your chairs today before you walked in. I've mailed these all over the world. We're up to about 1 million or so. On one side of the band, it says Helinski's Hope. The other side is Tyler's jersey, number 3. And if you flip the bands inside out, there's the 3-digit 988 number. Used to be the 800 suicide hotline number. And we hear from people all the time that I was in a dark place. I was struggling. I had your bands of hope on my wrist, and I looked down at it, and it gave me the courage to reach out and ask for hope, to turn that band inside out and call that number. I hope if you were struggling that you use that band as well. We created something called Student Athlete Mental Health Week. It started about 5 years ago, and we're up to over 200 universities and schools now, and we'd love for you guys to join us, the whole Cullman School District. It's free. I prepare these boxes. Again, there's the word hope, called boxes of hope. In these boxes are helmet decals for our athletes who wear helmets, lapel pins for coaches, staff, administrators, hair ties for our female athletes or our players who have long hair, cheer ribbon, and more of these bands. And it runs the first week of October. And it's a way that we come together to let our students know, to let our student athletes know how wonderful you are, how much you matter, and how much your mental health matters. So here's that word, precious. I like to make a lot of t-shirts for people in my family, sweet sayings, their nicknames. And one year, I thought, I'm gonna make a t-shirt for myself too, right? The t-shirt I made for me is, I'm in love with 4 men. Now, I think the parents might get that one. My husband, my Kelly, my Tyler, and my Ryan. And it truly is. When you have a child, you fall in love with them. They mean everything to you. And I know that's how your parents feel about you. So I sent a t-shirt to a friend yesterday, and she texted back to me and said, this shirt is so precious. And I thought, that's a word I don't hear very much, but it was sweet and it was cute. This morning I went for a jog really early. I cannot believe it's 40 degrees here in the morning. But as I was jogging, I took a selfie and I sent it to my youngest son, Ryan. He texted me back and he said, you are so precious. I thought, wow, 2 times I hear that word. I get a card from Miss Karen, and I open it up this morning. In that card, in a sentence that she wrote, is the word precious. And I thought 3 times, that's something. I want to share with you how precious you are, how much you are needed, right? How much the people in your life need you. I want you to stay. Please stay. Tomorrow needs you. So back to these bands and my oldest son, Kelly. That's him right there. That's Kelly. It's my youngest son, Ryan. They miss their brother. Can't even tell you how much. It's a struggle for them every second of every day that he is not with them. It's tough, right? I don't want the people in your lives to experience that pain, that deep grief that will always be with them. So Kelly, he's 6'8", he's a tall kid. Can't help but notice him when he walks into a room or to a store. So people will glance up at his face, and then they'll just their eyes will drift down to his wrists. And they'll notice that he's wearing a bunch of Helinski's Hope bands, 6 or so on each wrist, and he does it for a reason. They ask him, why? Why so many of the same bands? And he takes one off and he says, this is my brother. Let me tell you about my brother. Now, Tyler is more than a band, right? He was my buddy, and I miss him so much. Every second of every day. So what do you do now, right? After you hear these parents struggling to get through Tyler's story and their journey, I'm gonna ask you to do a couple of things. Get into groups of 3, right? There's that number again. Check in on each other, maybe once a month, twice a month. If you see your friend changing, right? If they're skipping class, if they're failing tests, if they're not going to practice, whether it's band or whether it's a sport, call them on it. Ask them why. Tell them that you're concerned, that you're worried. And if you are the person that is being asked those questions, open up your heart. Those are questions of love. They're coming from a place of caring. And I can tell you this, it is so much better to check in on your friend or a family member if you think they are struggling than to remain silent. If you are struggling and you don't know how to reach out and ask for help, use Tyler's story. And I get DMs, which I did tell people about 2 years ago, I finally figured out what DMs are. And they reach out to me and they say, Mrs. Helinski, I did exactly what you did. I didn't know how to take that first step, right? I didn't know how to tell my parents or my coach or my brother or my sister or my friend that I was struggling. So I set my mom and my dad down and I told them about Miss Kim and Mr. Mark. And I told them how sad they were that they lost their son. And then I told them about myself. I know Tyler would be proud if you'd use his story. I forgot to tell you the third part of our mission is to provide mental health resources for our students really across the country. And you guys are doing it here in Alabama. You're using our mental health series, and I think most of you are done. And if you haven't finished them, please do. I know that they're going to help you, right? We're at a university in Alabama, not too far from here, and we don't usually share the names, but I'm going to share the story with you. We're just actually meeting with the football team, and we're good friends with the coach. And as we're packing up, putting the laptop away, hugging the players, telling them how wonderful and precious they are, head coach comes running back into the room. It's like, Mark and Kim, I need you right now. You got to come with me. We drop everything, go running down the hallway, right? And we go into this smaller conference room. And there is the biggest person, linebacker I have ever seen in my entire life, right? Big. He is crying so hard. And his position coach is sitting right next to him, crying hard too. We just hug on him for a couple of minutes, right? And then he's able to get these words out of his mouth that touched my heart, and they stay with me every day. I've struggled with my mental health my entire life, but I just never wanted to be a burden. Right? That hurt. So that day, they called his mom and told her about his struggles. They got him into a counseling session, and he's doing so much better. Now, 2 years later, he's actually a coach on the team because he reached out and got help. So I share that story with you because while people on the outside may appear strong, right, this gigantic linebacker looks strong, not always the case inside, right? Remember, you got to check in on your strong, okay? I use the word hope a lot in this talk, and that's what I want to leave you with, hope, okay? I don't want you to be sad. I don't want you to cry. I know it's a raw conversation, but we have to have these conversations. We have to talk about our mental health, and Mark said it earlier. Cancer, ALS. I lost my dad to cancer. I lost my mom to ALS. We talked about their appointments. We talked about their diseases because they mattered. We've got to treat the way we talk about our mental health the same way we talk about our physical health. You shouldn't be embarrassed. You shouldn't be afraid. We've got to work together to beat down that stigma. And we can do it together, you guys. We're in this together, and I believe in you. But as you leave here today, I want you to remember that you are more than the sport that you play. You're more than the instrument that you play. You take AP classes. You're more than the grade that you get, right? You win a game, great. You lose a game, I'm sorry. But you mean more than a win or a loss, an A or an F. And you have got so much on your plates, right? You went through COVID, tough. We talked about social media earlier. It can be rough, right? Throw in class, throw in your sport, whatever practices you go through. If you have jobs, you are juggling so much, and I don't think you realize that you are. I want you to take a step back and realize the beauty in yourself, the special person that you are, and how much you matter. I'm going to leave you with a video of Tyler playing a sport that he loved, right? Don't want to leave you here sad. And I'd like you to remember my sweet Tyler this way, please.
I'm gonna need you to raise your glass. I don't care what you're putting in. Here's the nights that you can't take back. We live hard, but we love to laugh. And we all thought that we'd get rich fast. Hop the plane out for greener grass. Found out the greenest cash don't compare to the friends that last. See, we won't forget where we came from. The city won't change us. We beat to the same drum. No, we won't forget where we came from. This city can't change us. We beat to the same drum, the same drum. No matter where we go, we always find a way back home. No matter where we go, we always find a way back home. So here's to the cheap sunglasses, Red Bull and minivans, people who had your back when the world didn't understand. See, we won't forget where we came from. The city won't change us. We beat to the same drum. No, we won't forget where we came from. The city can't change us. We beat to the same drum, the same drum. losing touch and fading away. We'll still be raising.
Touchdown wins it. Snap back to Helinski. Drops back, has time, passes left. Clark made it, the catch to the 20-yard line, more over the 10, runs for the win, dives for the pylon. Touchdown, Washington State. He's celebrating like it was over the goal line. It's a comeback for the ages. An all-time Cougar win, down 21 in the fourth quarter. Washington State.
Oh no, they say they won't change us. Oh no, they say they won't change us. Won't change us. Hey, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. No matter where we go, we always find our way back home. No matter where we go, we always find our way back home. We always find our way back home.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for opening up your hearts, and always remember that there is help and there is hope. Thank you.
If you guys will, help me thank the Helinskis one more time. We're just about to leave, so if you're a bus driver in here and you have not gone out to your bus, you need to make your way that way. We're going to change up the way we exit in just a moment. A couple of things that I want you to remember when you leave here, that you are loved and appreciated, and we're here for you. One last thing I want to do before we leave. We have a gentleman here today. How many people enjoy watching, like, if you don't have our app, you need to download our app because you can go there and see some of today on our app, our CCBOE app. But we have our ball games and our graduations and all those things. And there's a gentleman that helps us make that possible, and he's turning really, really old today. Today is a milestone for Ty Watwood that's back here in the booth. He turns 40 years old. On the count of 3, I want you all to help me say happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday. We appreciate you. Give him a hand, please. So, hey, I just want to thank you all. You showed such maturity today, and I will tell you, the more you act like this, the more we can do for you guys. So we had planned that we were going to leave a couple of schools at a time, but I know this is going to seem like mass chaos, but here's what I want you to do. The door and the pathway that you came into this building is the same pathway that you're going to use to go out, and you're going to go straight to your buses and load your buses up. Please be mature as you leave, no pushing, be courteous. Say about 3 kind things to people as you go to your buses, but everybody at one time you can start moving towards those exits. Thank you, guys.